2022 signalled a new era in the World Rally Championship as hybrid power hit the stages for the first time. With a second straight title success, Toyota's GR Yaris Rally 1 represents the WRC's most significant technical overhaul for a generation.
There was a couple of aspects which were all brought in at the same time for 2022. Probably the first one being the hybridization, so a move from internal combustion engine alone to adding an electric motor to create a hybrid system in the car. So this was a really important step forward for the sport. The next step was really to create a bespoke safety cell for the crew inside the car. And to do this, the regulations for the chassis would need to change. And so the Rally 1 car is now with a bespoke space frame chassis, which includes an FIA safety cell inside.
The new hybrid regulations utilise a common manufacturer shared hybrid unit, which Toyota engineers coupled to the Yaris's existing 1.6-litre turbocharged engine.
An important element was also, of course, to keep the cost and the development of the cars to a reasonable level. So in 2022, we were running exactly the same engine as we left the 21 season and integrating the hybrid motor to that. The hybrid system is a 100 kilowatt motor and it's coupled to a 3.9 kilowatt hour battery. So a relatively small battery, but quite a powerful motor. The reason behind that is that we're using it as a boost system rather than a continuous drive system. So the driver is able to deploy energy from the battery via the motor and create a boost down the straights. Coupled with the original engine, at times we're able to deploy over 540 horsepower. So at its maximum, it's a pretty impressive acceleration.
Out on the stages, drivers have adapted to the demands of deploying and regenerating the hybrid energy in the heat of competition.
Regeneration working in much the same way as a hybrid road car that many people will be familiar with. So during the braking phase, we're able to regenerate via the same motor, which is recharging the battery and also linked to the strategy of how much energy you're allowed to deploy. So the amount of energy which you can regenerate is linked directly to the amount of energy which you're then allowed to redeploy.
A simpler suspension and a 5-speed gearbox have reduced the overall complexity of the Rally 1 Yaris. Although it retains an aggressive rear wing, simpler aerodynamics have also increased the focus on driver skill.
Toyota in 2017, we already came with a very aggressive aerodynamic package in the beginning and developed that over the 5-year period to a point where our final car was really quite extreme in terms of the number of devices on the surface, making a very complex vehicle that had cost and development implications. So moving into the new regulation, the FIA and the manufacturers decided to tighten up on what kind of devices are allowed. And that really is the driving factor behind the visual difference that you see with the Rally 1 car, and that the surfaces are quite a lot more simplified than they were before.
Under the hood, 100% sustainable fuel feeds the Toyota's engine. It was the first fuel of its kind in the WRC and powered the new Yaris to a maiden championship success last season.
We were really happy with how the season 2022 went, with so many new elements, hybrid, chassis, aerodynamics, all being completely new. We really anticipated that the reliability would be probably the #1 factor in deciding the championship at the end. As it turned out, we also had to work a lot on the speed of the car, increasing the performance ready for this season, because of course everyone was becoming very close towards the end of 2022, and 2023 is now a big challenge.